All right, hello. We are going to do our next project. This is the tobacco basket. Now, we got these from the wholesalers. Again, same with the other wreath that we talked about. If you can't buy wholesale, you can find these at other stores. Hobby Lobby does carry tobacco baskets, so you can find different shapes, different styles of tobacco baskets. This one here is a 12 by 12 and it has a basket in it. So we're using this one. We got these again from Sims Pottery. Again, you will have a full supply list of where we got everything with the numbers. So let me show you what all is included with this this project. So we have the basket, and we have pre-mossed the bottom part of the foam for you. We used some green floral foam, and we used the beige or tan Spanish moss for this one. And we did a light covering over the bottom and sides of the foam so that it can't be seen through the basket, because the basket is open. So we want to cover it up as much as possible. I did not glue any of them any of that on there, because the more glue you use on with moss and foam, you can't kind of get your picks through there. So you want to be able to get your picks cleanly through your moss and into your foam. So what we do is we use these U-pins or floral pins. You can get these at Hobby Lobby. They come in a bag over in the floral department. And that's what we use. We just poke those in there. I'm going to zoom in for you in just a second so you can see everything. But while I'm telling you what all is included, I want to be able to show you that on the full screen. So the moss, you can get green if you want. We chose brown. We got brown for some projects, green for others. And then we went ahead and cut the foam and put it in there for you. The reason we did that is because tobacco baskets are very fragile. They're made of chipwood, which is what they call them. They're also called chipwood baskets. And I put a sticker on this one, you can tell, because one of these slats is cracked. Well, we didn't want it. Here it is right here. There's a defect in it. We didn't want to give that to one of the guests, so we marked those that luckily, and out of all of them that we bought, we only had 2 that were marked, or that were damaged or broken or had a crack in them. So we marked those and we used those for our own projects. That way you guys didn't have any that were messed up. For those who are at the retreat or who were not able to attend. So we have people in the virtual group who paid to be at the retreat, but for whatever reason could not actually attend, so they were put into the virtual. They received their projects, so that's why I'm saying that, because they got their projects. There may be some of these left over. If there are, the virtual will be one of the first that we offer them to. So if you want to buy any of the projects, we'll have them available, because we will have a few extras. And you can pick which projects you would like. So anyway, with that said, we have the 12 by 12 tobacco basket in black. You can use whatever color you want, any shape you want. It's all going to be the same. You're going to use the same principles, the same concept. You're just going to do it in a different shape or a different form. So you get your basket with your foam and the moss on it. Moss makes a little bit of a mess, obviously. All right, then you're going to get 3 of these magnolia picks. Now these are going to have to be fluffed, obviously. They're closed up. And they come with these little white crab apples and these leaves on them. We're going to do a little doctoring up with those. But so you've got some eucalyptus, some flat eucalyptus. You've got these green leaves, and then you've got the crab apples, the white crab apples, I call them. I don't know, berries, I guess you would call them. So you have 3 of those picks. You have 3 of the brown or fall bead grass that we're going to use. So you may not use all of this. You may some of it you may not have to use. There's like 6 or 7 stems on here, so they're pretty full. So you don't have to use them all, but you have it. And then we have some fern. This is a frosted or flocked fern. Mine does not look like it's frosted or flocked, so that's why I used it on mine, so that you guys know we would save the ones that look like they are for you guys or for the retreat. But mine looks like it's just a regular one, so I'm not quite sure why they call it a flocked one, but this one here is flocked, or has that flocked look to it. So this is another bush that you're going to get, and each of these pieces, stems or bushes, come with 3 pieces of each of the greenery. There's 3 eucalyptus, there are 3 of these leaves with the little white flowers on them, and then there's 3 of the ferns. So we'll be taking those apart and we'll be putting those in individually as well. So let me get all this out of the way, get rid of these bags. There, so this is one of the more simpler projects that we were doing. We picked 2 that were more of a simple project, quick project that wouldn't take very long, but that were real nice projects. So these are more of the winter. I know magnolias are more of a summer thing, but they do have blooms in the winter, or in the fall, I should say, in the fall. We have some that are blooming right now. But I think a magnolia is good all year long. So this basket could be used all year if you wanted to. All right, so let's get those out of the way. We are going to lightly cover the top of the foam with some more moss and some pins before we get started. So let me show you that, and I'm going to try and hold it up this way so you can see what I'm doing. Now this is going to make a mess, but it's okay. We don't need very much because we can spread it out. So I'm going to take a handful, and I'm just going to, because your greenery and everything's going to kind of, probably need a little bit more than that. So we're going to lay it on top, just get it so that it covers some of that greenery. I'm going to take a pin or 2, and I'm going to put it in here towards the thickest part. Now when you're pushing things into your foam, be careful that you're not going through the foam. Your foam is only about 2 inches thick, and be careful that you're not pushing too hard that you break your basket. So I'm going to find another thick part, and I'm going to put that piece in there. So that's going to hold that. When we use glue on the rest of this, that's going to hold all that in. I just want to lightly cover this up. Let me zoom in. Right there. Get another nice little handful here. We're going to open it up, spread that out, and we're going to lay that right on top. And again, we're not trying to cover every little bit because that's what our flowers and foam or picks are going to do. So we're just going to put that in there, and that's it. There we go. Now, the foam is not glued to the basket. You could later go around with the glue gun, or before you started putting everything in, and put some glue along the sides to hold that in there. I'm not doing that for the demonstration purpose, because it's really not going to be necessary. This foam isn't going to come out unless somebody like grabs it and yanks on it. But if I were sending this to a customer, definitely I would put some glue around the edge, and I would do it around this edge because it's thicker here, and I don't have to worry so much about that. But I would put some dots of glue in there to hold this in place, just so it doesn't come loose, especially during transit. All right, so there we go. Very lightly covered that. We can get rid of this. Get that out of the way. So there's our basket ready to go. So now we've got our 3 magnolias. We've got our greenery bush here. This is just tied together with some paper. I'm going to snip that off and undo that. They just wrapped it around it. And we're going to separate these. So we've got 3 stems. Each one has the same on it. Has the fern, the eucalyptus, and then the flower. So you've got 3 of those. So let's go ahead and cut those off. I'm going to cut them long. Always cut long because you can't add it back, but you can cut them down if need be. So I'm cutting them right at the base. And I'm going to separate the pieces that are the same. So I'm going to take all my flowers, put those there. Take all my ferns and put those together, and my eucalyptus. And then we have our bead grass, and we have our other fern there. So I'm going to move this down right there. You don't need to see me, you just need to see the project. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to do our bead grass first. We'll open those up before we use them. So we're going to use our bead grass first. And we're going to take 2 bushes of this and we're going to use them whole. So I'm going to open them up just a little bit. So I'm going to spread them open. You've got about 7 stems on here. And I'm going to put 1 stem in the right hand corner. And then I'm going to put 1 left center. So kind of off here to the left side. This is my left side over here. I'm going to put 1 right in here, kind of center. Not center of the basket, but center of the foam. And then the other one will go on this side. But I want to leave some of my basket exposed because you don't want to cover it all up. You don't want them just to see the front. You want them to see the basket. The basket is part of your design, so you want to see that. So I'm going to lay this down for a second here, and we don't need this stem this long. And again, we have notches in here. So I don't know if you can see, but there are notches, 1, 2, 3, 4 notches there. So we're going to cut that down to probably about in between the second and third. And I'm going to cut that at an angle. And I'm going to put that in. Put it in whole. So, sorry, I have to turn it towards me in order to put it in here. And I want to very carefully push down on this. I don't want to break my basket when I do this. So I want to push this down. I'm going to go right in the center of the foam. Trying to hold the foam in place so it doesn't move it. And I'm going to go all the way down right there. Like this. So that's in the center. And now you can take and move these, manipulate them. Because we don't want everything standing straight up. We want it to spread out. So get it spread out, bend them down, let them come outward. We will fill in between. So you've got 3 going downward. And these are also pushers. So if you need to push them up higher, you can. But we're actually going to leave them like this. I don't need them to be all up at the top. I want them to cover the whole stem. So we've got 4 that are facing outward and we got 3 that are going up. So there's that one. I know it looks a little funny right now, but it'll all work out. So there's that. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. But this one is going to be, I'm trying to think what I want to say. It's going to be in the right hand corner. So we want it to be towards the back, but we still want to see the basket. So we're going to spread those stems open. So we're just going to open them up like this. And again, I'm going to cut this down. We don't need that stem that long. Cut that down. And I haven't put this in any glue yet, but you want to make sure to glue it in first, or glue it in when you do it. Now you could cut off a few of these pieces, but I'm going to leave them on there and we're just going to bend them and manipulate them to where we want them to go. So I'm going to go at an angle, sorry, turn it back around. I'm going to go at an angle from the outside in. So it's hard to do this when you got to turn it around for everyone to see, but so let me do that first. Let me get this in here. Let's go at an angle right here. There, right there. All right, now I want to see the basket, so I'm only going to put like 2 of them up top, and the rest I'm going to angle them down. Let's go that way, and this one should go that way. I'm trying to keep the stems so they don't crisscross. There. And then you've got this one and this one. So you can still see your basket. See that? That's what we want. So it looks kind of weird and kind of messy at the moment, but there's a method to it, I promise. So let's get one going down straight. And bend them, Get them going where you want them to go. Nothing goes in the same direction. There and there. Well, we don't want them all going that way, but stick some of them up. All right, that looks better. Now the same with this one over here. We'll fix those. You can put them however you want them. So that's what we've got going there, okay? Now with that, we're going to keep this one out for filler. So we may not need all of it, but we are going to use it for filler. So I want to make sure to move my, let me get another pin here in the front. My moss has moved, so I'm going to get it back where it needs to go, right here in the front, and cover up that foam. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and put our flowers in. Now, for the flowers, let's go ahead and fluff these out. Again, you've got 3 magnolia flowers. You can move these. They're all wired. Petals are wired. Center is wired. Even these little pieces on the back are wired. So I'm going to open these up so that you can see that flower. And again, if you need to steam them, you can steam these. So we're going to move these so that not everything is just going straight up and down. Now, if you wanted to, you can remove your leaves, these long green leaves. I'm not real crazy about those, but I'm going to leave them for now. But they could be taken off, and you could use them either as filler or just leave them off altogether. And then the same with these little crab apples. You could cut those off and just use those as fillers as well. And we may do that on one of the stems. So I'm just trying to move everything around and open everything up and get it going the way it should be looking. All right, so one we're going to leave at full length probably. Let me look and I'll tell you. So this one is going to go towards the back left center. So let's see, my left over here. I have to remember which way I'm at. So kind of left center, I'm going to put this tall one. But now I don't want it to go all the way through my foam, but I want it to be high. I want like a stair step look to it. So the flowers are going to have a stair step look. So I'm going to have one taller, one a little bit shorter, and then a short one off to the side. And that's going to be more towards the center, the right side center. All right? So I'm probably going to take about 1 inch off of the bottom. Again, cutting that at an angle. I'm going to dip it in glue because I don't want it to go all the way through my foam. So I'm going towards the back and I'm going to push that down just enough so that it's peeking out over the top. So my flower is equal with the top of my basket here. And we can move those petals around and get it looking more like it should and like a pretty flower there. So there we go. There's that one. Now we're going to do a shorter one in front of it, and then we'll do another one off to the side. And this one is going to go kind of in front of that one there. So it may be the shorter one. And that's probably the one I'm going to cut these green leaves off of because I really don't care for that. So on this one, I'm going to cut about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches off of the bottom. Again, we're cutting at an angle. And I'm thinking I'm going to leave the eucalyptus on there, but I am going to take these green flowers off. They pull right off of there. And then I might cut these apples out and use this as a filler somewhere else. Let me see if I can pull it out because they're only taped in there. The tape is wrapped there. They come right out. That'll work. And then we'll leave the eucalyptus on there But this is going to go right in front of my other flower. So I want to make sure I don't have too much stem on there. I don't want it to go through the bottom of my basket. I'm trying to see how much of this is actually going to go through it. I'm going to take a little more off. Probably another inch. All right, let's get some glue on there. And I'm going to put this, I'm facing it towards me so I can see where it goes. And I'm going to go almost in front of it to a little bit more to the left. Let's see if I can grab a hold of that foam so I don't push it down. And I'm going to bend it outward so that it looks like that. So here's the one we just put in, and then there's the taller one. Now, if you wanted to make it a little bit shorter, you can. It's totally up to you, but I'm going to leave mine like that. And then we'll use this as a filler. I don't think we'll use the green. And then we're going to do a shorter one, and that's going to go over here. All right, see that? All right, now this one we're going to do, I'm going to cut it right here. This is where all the wires actually meet. There's a longer, thicker stem in the center. But this is where all the other wires meet, and I think I'm going to cut it down to that. So I'm going to cut that at an angle. Cut that paper. Open up my flower a little more. All right, there. And then I'm going to put some glue on that. That paper wants to come unraveled, so I'm trying to keep it going in the same direction. And now this one is going to come almost out to the front on the right side, and I'm going to put that right in here. And I'll show you that as soon as I get that in, because I want to hold my foam, keep it from smashing down anymore. Right there. All right, so there we go. This is the one I just put in. Bring it towards the front. So it's kind of even with the other one, I guess. So there we have it. Now you can still see the basket, and if you wanted to take these green leaves off of this one too, you can. It's not going to hurt anything. You just pull them right out. Some of them will come out, some of them will fight you. Probably because I'm doing it backwards. Let me see. I think I'm going to take them out. I think it covers up the basket too much. There. That's good. Now we'll just put our petals back in play. There. There we go. I think that's better. It kind of, you still see the basket more. And we want to see that basket. All right, so now we've got our other fillers we're going to put in. We're going to hold that to the side, and we're going to take our eucalyptus, this bush right here. So I'm going to take, and I'm going to split this. There's 3 pieces on here, and I'm going to take a little bit of stem. I'm going to leave about 1.5 inches, and I'm going to cut that off right there. I'm going to use my little pliers here, and I'm going to bend over the top, just to keep anything from coming off, like that. So you can push that one up, and you can cut off a little bit of stem. Do the same with the next one. Oops, get that metal. You need the metal, not just the plastic. Be careful you don't stab yourself with that. If you do that. Now you don't have to cut these up. You can put them in whole, but I want a little bit more filler. So I'm going to take a couple of these and I'm going to put them down here in the front. All right, let me see if I can turn this around for you. This is the hard part about doing stuff like this, is you can't really see. So now I'm going to go in between my bead grass over here, and I'm going to put a piece of that right there. See that there? And then I'm going to put another piece down front. right down in here. And I'm putting them in at an angle so that they poke out to towards you. Right there. And another one here. And we're going to go over here and we're going to go right in between our bead grass on this side. Right there. Alright, so there's that. Alright, now we're going to go in with our white flower stems, which are these right here. So we have 3 of these. Again, these you can push all these up. So a couple of them we're going to leave full length. Maybe cut just a little bit off of the ends. We don't need them as tall. That's a very long stem on there. And let me see, I want this one to kind of come over here and go in between our bead grass over here. So I'm going to cut it down to probably right there. That's probably, I don't know, 3 inches, 4 inches. And I'm going to put this over here. Turn it around. I'm going to put this, don't want it to drip. I'm going to put it over here on this side. And I'm going right in the center of my bead grass. I want it to look like it's coming out of the bead grass. So I'm going to go right in here and put it right there. Right there. So I didn't go down too far, but you can push those leaves down if you want it to look a little fuller. Right? There's that one. Now we can move these leaves around. Give this some life over there. All right, now I want to put one on the other side. So let me try to put this over here so it'll hold it up for you. Hopefully you can see that. How about that? That works better. Now you can see it. Sorry. It's kind of hard to hook this up to something and have it stand up. All right, we're going to cut about half that stem off. And I'm going to put that over on this side. So get some glue on that. And I'm going to again go right in between all my bead grass and I'm going to poke that down in there like that. So there's that one. So now we're going to take the other one and we're just going to fill in. So I'm going to put it, I think, down front here. So I'm going to cut it pretty short for that. So I want to push all my leaves up. It's not going to be real short, but it's going to be a lot shorter than the other ones. So I'll push all these leaves up so everything's up towards the top. Spread them out some. Give it a little shake there. And I'm going to, instead of doing half, I'm going to go up a little more and I'm going to cut that right here. So I don't know if you can see that, but I cut off probably about 6 inches. And then this one is going to go right down here in the front, right here. Kind of in the middle. But I'm going to have it coming out towards me, not, and I'm going to push those leaves back down now so that it fills that in. So it's almost on top of that eucalyptus, right in the center there. All right, and now we've got some more of the eucalyptus and some more of this fern. Let's put the fern there. All right, let's do the eucalyptus again. Now we can do, let's see here. I'm going to fill in down here with the eucalyptus. I think I'm going to leave these two together and put this in here. I want another one in the front, and I think I want another one kind of in between these two flowers here, maybe. We'll see. I'm going to do the one on the right here in the front first. I'm going to put one right here. But I'm going to leave all 3 of these on here, and I'm going to push them up. And we're going to cut that kind of short. And we're going to take and put some glue on that, and we're going to go right in the front. So I'm going to go right down in here, right below my flower, and I'm going to go at an angle so that this is poking out towards us. So it fills that in right there. See that right there? All right, now with this one, I think I'm going to go over here on the side, and we're going to go in between our bead grass over here on the left side. And then we're going to just leave these spread out a little bit. We don't need them all pushed up to the top, but we're going to leave them spread out a little. There we go. So they're going to look like that. And I'm going to cut it off because we don't need a long stem. It's going to go right over here in between our bead grass. So I'm going to go right down in here, right there. So it gives it that nice little fullness right there. Now if you have too much bead grass, you can clip some of these off and use them as fillers. You don't have to have all of this in here. It's totally up to you. All right, let's put our little ferns, these little ferns in. I'm going to poke these in. I think one's going to go to the back here, one to the back there, and then one in the front. And again, these also are pushers. So you just want to kind of push them up a little bit. We're not cutting the stems off all the way, but we're going to cut a couple inches off, probably about 2.5 inches, 2 inches. And we're going to poke this in. Let's see where we're going to go right here. So I'm going to take this first one and I'm going to go right down in here, kind of where we did with the eucalyptus, but I'm going to go behind the eucalyptus and I'm going to poke this in there because I want those ferns poking out. So it's right in here. I'm going to push some of these bead grass back down into the basket. It doesn't need to be that long. There, like that. I think that's better. Sorry, I know you can't see when I do this, but I'm just trying to adjust everything. And if you think that's too long, you could clip off this pick or the stem and then take that tip off and then clip it and then put the clip back on or the tip back on. This one I think needs to come. I need to clip that one and put it over here because I need it to fill this in. I want to fill in this void down here. All right, let's finish with these. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to go on the other side. Let's see where I want to put it. I think I want to clip it and go down here towards the front. So right in here, right in towards here is where I want to put this next fern. So I think I'm going to clip it a little bit shorter. Where did I say I was going with that? Right down in here. Okay. So I'm going to go right down in here. So I'm going in front of where I put that white flower and pushing those leaves out. So right here in the corner of the basket is where I put that one. This needs to come forward. It's bended back too much. Yeah, I think these are too long. I think my bead grasses are way too long. I think I'm going to snip those and use these as fillers. All right, now I want to do this one. And this one is going to go down front. And I'm going to cut a couple inches off of that one. And I'm going to put this kind of right behind here. Let me get to the basket. So we've got this flower in the center. I want to go kind of behind that with this fern. Like that. So it's right in the center there. I'm going to pull some of this to the front because it's all compact. There we go. There we go. All right, let's put the rest of our fern in. So the rest of this fern we're going to take and clip off. These are also pushers. You don't have to use the whole bush, but we want to use this as a filler to cover up the rest of our moss. Sorry. I had a brain freeze there for a second. So we're going to have a pop of this. Like I said, mine is for some reason the brighter green, but the others should be the frosted or flocked. So I'm going to cut off the stem to where it's just about 2 inches long. And I'm going to pop this in here. And we're going to use it as a filler. Now this one has 2 pieces on it. You can cut those off separately or leave them. I'm going to cut them off separately because my stem is shorter. And I want this to bend outward. I don't want it to go straight up and down. So I'm going to pop this in front right here. There, like that. So we've got those 2 right here in the front. Now I want a taller one to go right down in here. I see a gap right between my flowers. I'm going to go in between those 2 right here. Whoops, got glue on my finger. There. I'll turn this around for you here. All right, so that one went right here in the center. I'm going to put another one up underneath my bead grass over here. Fill this in. Have it coming down and out. So it's mixed in with that bead grass. Like that. I need to open this up a little more. We're getting a little wider here. Sorry about that. Hopefully that helps. All right, so then you just take the rest of these and fill it in as for filler. So you just need to, let me see, I need to cut a couple of these down. I'm going to go right in here in the middle where this opening is. And I'm going to put one right there. All right, I'm going to take one of these longer ones and I'm going to go, whoops, I'm going to go in here in the middle of my other, and I'm going to poke that one down in there. So we have some of that fern coming out of there. So we've got that one there. All right, I think I'm going to use this one to cut it down. And I'm going to bend my stem downward. And I'm going to go right down front here where I see a hole. And I'm going to punch that in there. Whoops, if I can get it to go on the foam. Doesn't want to go in. I can hear it hitting it, but it's not going in it. There it goes. There we go. So we got 2 of them there now. So that just covers up that front right here. I think I'm going to put this one in the back right there. I'm not going to cut the stem. I don't see any fern right there, so I'm going to go, I've got a little gap right here. I'm going to go on the left side. Well, my right, your be the left when you're looking at it. Right there. And then we have one more small piece, and I'm going to put that one right over here, I think, on the side. Put that over here. There, sticking out. Now we've got these little crab apples here, and I think I want that coming out right here, because we've got them, we've got one here, and I want one over here. So I'm going to put this right in here. So let me fix this stem. Cut it down just a bit, not too much. And I'm going to go right in between all these greeneries, and I'm going to put that in there. So we're going to move some of this out of the way, and we're going to go straight down into the foam. Possibly. There we go. Right there. That looks better. I like that. Right there. So I would cut some of these down right here, and I would move them to other positions to use as filler. They're sticking out way too far right here, and especially over here. So I would cut some of these off and then just use them as filler in the basket there. So we wouldn't need them all hanging out this far. You don't want to have it come out too far. And then when they hang this, now you could either take a piece of the binding wire or rope and tie it around here. You could even use a nice pretty ribbon, put it right in the center through the basket, but go through this thicker part here. Don't attach it to these chipwood pieces. Do it to the frame of the basket, and it'll hold better, and they can hang it from that. Make it long enough so that it would be able to hang though. You don't want to make it too short because the basket bumps out to the wall, so they need enough meat on that to hang it up. Alright, so we're going to take our ribbon and we're going to make a bow to go right here in our corner where we have this little gap. We're going to do an 8-inch tail. I'm going to do 7 inches, 8-inch right here. So we're going to pinch this and we're going to do a twist. And now we're going to do a 4-inch loop. You could do 4.5. Let's do 4.5. Let's make it stick out further. Got plenty of ribbon, so let's do it. So we're going to take the burgundy ribbon and we're going to do a 4.5-inch loop. We're going to do 3 or 4. You could even do 5 for 4.5. You could make it a regular bow if you wanted. If you had some other ribbon to add with it, you could do that as well. Alright, so we're going to do 2 loops on each side, and then we can also do a center bow or a center loop if we want with the extra. So we're going to leave that at 2. So we have 2 loops each side, 4.5 inches, 8-inch tails. Let's cut this one off to match. We'll take this, mine's got a crease in it, measure it out 8 inches right here. We'll cut it off, fold it in half, pinch it about 1 inch in, put it down in your center. Make sure that your tails are straight. I'm going to use a small zip tie. I have these little 4 or 5 inch zip ties. I'm going to use that. So let's go ahead and put that in here. We'll cinch it down. You can use floral wire, you could use a pipe cleaner, whichever. Whatever you have, whatever you prefer. I just like the zip ties because I can get a tighter hold on it. Alright, so we're going to cinch that down. Now, to put it on my, or in the tobacco basket, we're gonna use a pick. Now we don't, if you have a pick machine, great, you can use that. If you don't have a pick machine, you can get these little wooden picks from Hobby Lobby. They have a little wire on the end of them, a little floral wire on the end of it, so you can use that to attach it. So here is our little bow. Oops. So I'm going to cinch this down, I'm going to tighten it up. Alright, there we go, get it nice and tight. We're going to clip this off. Now, I want to get rid of this excess from my little center loop here. We don't need all that. We're going to cut that down so it's not seen. And now our center bow will cover there. Now, if you wanted to do more loops, you could. You probably have more ribbon than I have, because I think you have a yard or two more. All right, I'm going to take my wire. Should have done this before I cinched it down. But I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to wrap it around my bow, the center of the bow, so that that wood pick sticks out. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to wrap it around and get it nice and tight. I'm going through the middle of that center loop. So you can get it around 2 or 3 times. And then I'm going to take this excess and I'm going to wrap it around that wood pick so that it holds on to it. It's a very thin wire. Alright, so there we go. There's our bow. And there's our wood pick. Now that's what we're going to use to stick it into our foam. So we're going to get a little bit of glue on there. Let me get the basket back over here. Alright, so we have, where's that opening at? Right down here we have this opening in the basket, and that's where we're going to put this bow. So I'm going to put some glue on here. Doesn't need a lot. You're going to go right into that foam. We're going to go right in the center. Come on. There we go. Get it in that foam. Okay. Once it's in there, go ahead and fluff your bow up. There we go. Glue all over my finger. Cut your tails down to whatever length you want. I have to straighten up these loops because I smushed them when I was putting glue on there. Now, if you wanted a bigger, fluffier bow, you could put that on there, certainly. We're just going to do this little tail. Let's dovetail these. If you don't want to dovetail, you can angle cut, whichever you prefer. And there we go. We have a nice little bow on the side right there. Now you don't have to use that ribbon. You can use any color ribbon you want. You could change it out for the seasons. Like I said, this would be good to hang up all year long. Just change your bow out for each season. Or the customer could change their bow out for the season. And that's a way you could sell or upsell. Add a bow. Add a couple bows. Hey, let me make you a Christmas bow. Let me make you a fall bow. Alright? So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you have any questions or any comments, put them down below. Susan and I will be happy to answer them for you. Or you can private message us, either one.